Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark film. On Halloween 1968, in the Pennsylvania town of Mill Valley, 3 teenagers, Stella, Augie, and Chuck, prank bully Tommy Milner. When Tommy and his gang chase them in retaliation, the 3 take refuge in the car of young drifter Ram Morales. They conclude Halloween by visiting the supposedly haunted former home of the wealthy Bellows family, who owned the local paper mill. Inside, they find a book of horror stories written by Sarah Bellows, the Bellows' young daughter who was accused of witchcraft when the town's children mysteriously began to die. She allegedly committed suicide. Tommy locks the group inside along with Ruth, Chuck's sister. They escape, and Stella takes Sarah's book. Back home, Stella discovers that a new story entitled Harold has appeared on a page that was blank moments before. In a nearby cornfield, an inebriated Tommy is stalked by the titular Harold, his family's scarecrow, after it comes to life.
He notices that Harold continuously moves towards his location.
Harold starts walking towards him. Tommy bolts. But when he runs smack into Harold, the creature stabs him in the back with a pitchfork, causing Tommy to vomit hay and undergo a violent transformation. Tommy is reported missing. Stella and Ram find Harold dressed in Tommy's clothes. Stella is convinced that Tommy has been turned into a scarecrow. A new story titled The Big Toe appears. The protagonist, Augie, is kidnapped by a corpse, searching for its missing toe, which is inside a stew that Augie unwittingly eats.
Augie is then dragged under his bed by the corpse and disappeared. After the remaining friends vainly attempt to destroy the book, they research Sarah's life. A new story, The Red Spot, starts to be written.
Ruth is sitting in the backstage room, getting her makeup ready for the play, starts poking at a swollen spider bite on her cheek, which explodes and releases hundreds of tiny spiders.
Ruth is rescued, but is traumatized, and the play is canceled.
The group's investigation takes them to the elderly Lou Baptiste, and they learn that Sarah did not die in the Bellows house, like many believed. She hanged herself in the hospital where her brother, Ephraim Bellows, was her doctor. They head to a local hospital, where they discover that Sarah's brother performed electroshock therapy on her as part of a cover-up, and to get Sarah to confess to killing the children.
The family's mill had been poisoning the town's water with mercury, leading to the deaths of the town's children, and Sarah was tortured by her family for trying to reveal the truth. To avoid suspicion, they blamed her for the deed.
Chuck, while trying to evade hospital security, accidentally triggers an alarm, bathing the hallways in red light.
In the tape, Sarah begins to narrate a story titled The Red Room, with Chuck as the main character.
Chuck is then attacked and cornered by the Pale Lady, a phantom from his nightmares, who absorbs him.
Stella and Ram are arrested for trespassing by Police Chief Turner, who reveals that Ram is a Vietnam War draft dodger.
Ram reveals that it was out of fear after his brother enlisted and his dead body was returned to them in pieces.
A head falls down the chimney. More body parts follow.
Ram realizes that the next creature is called the Jangly Man, a monster from a story called Me, Tai, Do, Ti, Walker that frightened him as a child.
The Jangly Man attacks Turner and snaps his neck. Ram and Stella escape and run to the Bellows house for answers. Stella is taken back in time while Ram tries to evade the Jangly Man.
Living out Sarah's experience of the torture, Stella promises Sarah that she will tell the truth of her innocence if she stops harming people.
Stella writes down the true story in blood, and Sarah and all of her monsters vanish. Stella writes the truth about Sarah's life in the papers, keeping her promise. Ram accepts his enlistment and shares an emotional goodbye with Stella before he leaves for the war. With Ruth recovered, Stella states that she will find a way to rescue Chuck and Augie.